You want to play a game of Slapface? Oh my goodness. So, Slapface is a movie that is currently streaming on Shudder, which I feel like I'm saying a whole ton. This one is definitely more horror than the one we just watched, The Last Thing Mary Saw. So I definitely feel that this deserves to be on Shudder. Not that the other one doesn't, I guess, but this one just definitely... Shudder is a horror streaming site,
and this one
right? And people, when they watch movies on there, they expect them to be horror-centric.
Yes, for sure.
And that one really isn't, and I'm not sure it should be on Shudder. But I like it, so what can I say? It's fine. But Slapface, okay, this is an interesting movie. So there is these two brothers, and their parents have died, and so the older brother is trying to take care of the family now. It's just him and his little brother. And we mostly follow the little brother. He's the main character of this movie. And he, he's taking the death of his mother pretty hard, and so he goes out and tries to kind of make a deal with the witch that this is this kind of local legend in town. And ends up befriending this witch and having some kind of weird friendship with her that, of course, starts resulting in chaos in his world. But his world kind of sucks anyway. This is where the movie's very weird. And no one is likable in this movie outside of one character, which is the brother's girlfriend, who's the only redeemable character that seems to be a good person. But this young kid has this girl that he hangs around, and she hangs around these two bullying twins, and his brother's slapping him every fucking night to toughen him up, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then the girl that he likes is nice to him when no one else is around, but when anyone else is around, she's bullying the shit out of him and
super
being awful
to
him. The twins are just dreadful to him. Just dreadful.
Oh, gosh.
Super bullying. Pretty much everybody in the town sucks. It's just his life sucks outright. Now, that's kind of setting up the feel of the film, right? This kid has a shit life, right? So it does kind of sell you on the fact that he would befriend this evil entity, because what's it to him, right? He deals with shit people all the time. Some freaking beggar witch. She looks like some homeless vagrant with a kind of very stereotypical witch face. Mm-hmm. Basically like the Halloween 3 mask, except for if it was flesh colored.
Yeah. Well, and there's even a line that the main character says, which is that she doesn't take the good kids, she wants the bad ones.
Yeah.
This movie, we watched it in 2 parts, and the first part I was really interested.
Yeah, I was intrigued.
Thought it was a super cool concept. I'm always a fan of monster movies where there's a focus on friendship, or sort of taking the trope and flipping it on its head with what you're expecting. But when we return to it, I don't know how satisfied I am with the conclusion. But I don't hate it. It's just a little confusing. And I feel like the whole movie is a giant metaphor for child abuse and child neglect.
Sure.
At the end of the day. That was my takeaway from it.
The real monsters
Are you slapping your kids?
Yeah, this is an odd... I hate to say this again, but this is just an odd movie.
It is.
While I was watching it, honestly, I feel like it comes down to the likability of characters. Mm-hmm. And that's not typically a complaint for me, because I am somebody who's I'm into foreign films, and there's a lot of very morally ambiguous characters that are in these films, that their protagonists aren't really protagonists. They're kind of in this gray area where they're kind of shitty. and they kind of have good things about them. And you know, I don't know. I guess it's because even okay, if you take movies that have those morally ambiguous characters, like I previously had mentioned, even there are those bad guys you love to hate, the Dexters, the whoever, right? It's like, you know, they're bad, but there's something compelling about them. There's something about their plight or their story or their goal, their quest, their whatever, that's intriguing to you, that you're invested in, even if they're unlikable, whatever. These characters are really just unlikable. Like, I was so not interested. I was so, like, by the end, I just didn't care anymore. Mm-hmm. And I was so checked out from everybody and where it went. And, you know, when you primarily focus and center a film around a child actor, that's a risky endeavor because kids are kids. And a lot of, you know, there's very few Elijah Woods, right? There's very few child actors that have that range, that have that ability to carry a film. It's very rare. And when you do lower budget stuff like this and you center a film around a child actor, he better be able to deliver. And while I find the kid to be fine, I feel like he really struggles in the final scene immensely. There's something he's like screaming, and I almost laughed because I just thought it was so poorly delivered. Yeah. And I don't blame a child actor all that much there. It's just, there was moments like that, and in addition to me not really liking the kid. That said, I understand why this kid's the way he is, and I understand why everyone, like, why he's unlikable in addition to everyone around him, because, you know, everyone in his life sucks.
Yeah, and, they are all horrible.
But, you know, there's also plenty of movies where everyone sucks around a person and they're wonderful. But that's not the movie that they're having here. I didn't get it. Like, I didn't get the point of anything. You said that this is a metaphor for child abuse and all that. Okay, fine.
That's like a blanket statement, right? Where I can make parts of the movie fit for that interpretation of it, but I don't know if that's the like intention of the film. For me, not only was it the like unlikability of the characters, but it was also some of the cinematography was really jarring. And there were some really weird cuts that happened.
Oh yeah, there are some definitely weird editing choices.
Intentional, and I don't know if those were artistic choices or what, but they definitely took me out of the film. And I think for me, this is also another movie where like the concept is cool. The witch looked great. I liked her design a lot, but I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of style with the rest of the film. And also with child actors too, and especially in this movie, I think if he had been really charismatic, even if there was just like one redeeming quality in him where you're like, oh, he's a sweetheart in this way, that made you kind of want him to succeed or survive or whatever, you know, that would have been a lot more compelling. But as it was, I mean, I feel bad for him because of the situation in his past with his parents and just all the bullying and everything that he's going through. But it was really hard to kind of see, like, get what his personality was outside of abused child.
Yeah.
You know, so like even if there had been some show of like special interests of his or something, or like hobbies that he was doing, I don't know, just I feel like if there was a little extra in his character, it would have, you know, changed the film in a good way. But I don't really understand the movie overall.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the throughout the movie, I just wanted to break the brother in half.
Oh gosh.
Like every 5 seconds. I was like, well, who is this kid?
Awful.
But I mean, that's what the movie's going for.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be unlikable. The twins, I wanted to murder right, left, and center.
They
like,
were
just
so evil. It was
such little
so
shits.
awful.
But that's the point, right?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be. So I guess they're doing their job in that way. But yeah, overall, I did lose interest towards the end.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because I was interested in this. And as I had said when we started this, I'm like, oh, cool. it's a serious adult witch movie. I don't get those very often. Like, witch movies are like the most underutilized subgenre of horror, in my opinion, and are rarely done well. There's very few exceptions and rare exceptions there. And where we get that kind of classic witch like we get in this, I do think that can be used very effectively. And I think that the witch in here is cool and can be scary. But going towards what she was saying, there, like, for context of what she's saying by the editing here, there's a scene in which the kid is being potentially attacked and then just wakes up in a field next to somebody, and it's like done with, but like it definitely happened, but there's like not even a slight explanation for how he got there, and it just kind of like streamlines right past it and just goes on to the next thing. Like, wouldn't this character be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, wouldn't the kid be like, what happened? What's going on? Like, he just kind of accepts it and goes on with the scene, and it's like, no, back it up. What the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And why aren't you more concerned with what just happened? So that kind of stuff did take you out of, because you're like, that's not a realistic reaction at all. And we don't know how somebody got from point A to point B, and the film doesn't seem to care.
I do feel like they were trying to set up a bit of an like unreliable narrator with the kid as well, but
but that doesn't pay off in the end.
It doesn't pay off in the end, and I don't think it like makes. I feel like if they were trying to do that, the way they tried to implement it was just a failure.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So, well,
it's okay.
I want to slap this movie in the face.
Slap.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
There's cool things about it for sure. But overall, I just felt it was disjointed, and I wasn't invested. But maybe you'll have a different experience, and let us know. Other than that, bye.